G'day viewers, this is Troy from Troy's Visual Arts channel. After testing out with my NBTV camera with Gary Millard's NBTV, the big picture software, and not getting successful results, I've been posting in the forums the results of my testing, and I sent Gary some WAV file recordings of the recordings I made from my NBTV camera, and it turns out that my NBTV camera was running too slow and there was little to no synchronization, and it was running about, say, 400 to 430 RPM, somewhere around about there, instead of 750 RPM. So, some minutes, it's just something. To test out whether I'm getting 750 RPM speed, or to get the motor speed up to 750 RPM, it was suggested that I plug I input a NBTV signal that's from an NBTV recording. So I'm using one of my several NBTV files. I put them on my MP3 player, and I've inputted the signal from my MP3 player to the sync mixer amplifier, which connects to the LED driver, and it works quite fine in outputting the signal to the display. I haven't got anything. Well, I have got something on display, but it's not in synchronization yet. So yeah, it's a good way to set my camera to NBTV speed. And I've just been playing around with this. I can briefly get the picture in synchronization and it looks quite good on display, but I can't get it to synchronize, and I've been tweaking the motor speed control, the fine speed, the core speed, and the encoder disc circuit trim pot there, and just haven't been able to successfully get it in synchronization. So there is a problem with somewhere in the synchronization circuitry. Now the crystal's working fine, of course, because it's outputting a 400 Hz clock pulse on the oscilloscope, and yeah, that's working all right. But somewhere in the sync circuitry there is a problem, because I'm not getting, so it's not synchronizing. I wonder if the encoder circuit there might be a bit of a problem with the encoder circuit, considering the fact that the encoder disc is a little bit wobbly. Anyway, at the moment it's pretty much out of synchronization. What you can see is a skew-whiffed NBTV signal. Now, with a bit of adjustment, I'm going to try adjusting the fine adjustment for now. Slow it down. It should bring it down to close to NBTV speed. I'm not quite, but I might just adjust the encoder disc circuit a little bit. What you can see is a bit of a skew-whiffed Felix the Cat side on, but that's actually not a correct NBTV signal anyways. That's meant to be I'm guessing that's a 30-line Tekka D file. I'm going to go back to a workable test pattern. Here we are, the NBTV logo. It's a little bit off synchronization. Now it's coming into sync by the looks of it, sort of. Might adjust the speed a bit. See, the speed's very erratic. I can get it briefly into synchronization, but then it goes out again. I'm adjusting the fine speed adjustments. What you can see there is the NBTV signal. come up nice and clear. And of course the encoder disc is working as it's supposed to, from what I can tell. I got a bit jolted there. Must have touched on something. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I'm not getting very good synchronization, as I've discovered from testing sort of fine-tuning the speed control and trying to get it synchronized. So we need to do a bit of fault finding here and work it all out. I'm actually not even sure if the encoder circuit is adjusted properly neither, because I'm really not sure what the negative pulse width's supposed to be. Because like you got a pulse on, and then you got a little pulse on period, then you got a long pulse off period. I'm not sure what the width of the pulse on period is supposed to be. The pulse ons, of course, is a negative pulse, because it pulses downwards on the oscilloscope. I'll actually hook up the oscilloscope and show you what I'm getting. Just give me a moment. Try and do this with one hand, which is a bit of a challenge. One hand jobs are always annoying. But anyway, I've got the encoder disc hooked up. I'm going to auto set it. Got to adjust it a bit. Move along horizontally. Try and trigger it so I can get it stabilised enough. So yeah, here we've got our encoder disc pulse, which is a negative pulse. The width is roughly, yeah, the width of the pulse is roughly about bit over 2.4 milliseconds. I'm not sure if that pulse is meant to be 2.5 milliseconds like the 400 Hertz clock pulse, but I'm guessing it is, so I'll have to ask the NBTV people. This is all new to me and I'm actually only learning this stuff. It does look erratic, but apparently you got a period of one long on pulse, which is on the disc, which is purposely put there for a specific reason, though I'm still not clear on it yet. Might just slightly adjust the pulse width. Yeah. Just so I can get about 2.5. I'd say it'd be roughly about 2.5. If it's correct, then it should be the correct adjustment for the encoder circuit. Now, I'm really not sure what this 22K pot does, but in my last, when I was testing it last, I was using another pot and I was getting a bit of a glowing effect on one side of the pot, like it was just glowing as I was adjusting it, so I decided to replace it. Also, I decided I noticed that with the other pot on the schematic, the one end was not tied to the other, because if you're only just using just two ends to three for the trim pot, you generally tie two ends together and leave one end bare. But I didn't do that, so maybe that might be the reason. But anyways, I've tied the two ends on this. Now I'm not sure what this actually does. It does something for the 555 timer. It's probably a pulse shaper, I think. I'm just looking at the... Actually, I think it does shape the pulse. So I notice when I adjust it to an extreme, you get this bit of you get this noise spike in the pulse. So it probably is a pulse shaper. So yeah, I haven't read up on what exactly it does, but yeah, it does have an effect on the encoder pulse. But anyway, I might adjust it a bit more. I think there's a little bit of drift in the encoder pulse as well, because it's kind of moved a little bit away from 2.5 milliseconds. Now, assuming that's the synchronized pulse, I now have to adjust the motor speed again. I'm going to do a fine speed adjustment. Hopefully, yeah, that's actually making it go faster, which is not what I want. So we'll adjust the core speed control and get it back to there we go. It's briefly in sync, but it's gone off sync, so there's definitely a problem in the synchronization of it all. It just doesn't, the sync circuitry just doesn't want to work with this motor for some reason. I'll have to work something out here. But on a side note, seeing that I can actually work the monitor off a separate NBTV signal. This camera unit can also double as a NBTV viewer, as well as a camera and monitor unit in one. Now, I'll take out the NBTV signal and stick in the camera signal. And I'm going to open the garage so you can see outside. Well, sort of, because you can't get much detail on distant objects. Yeah, it seems that the encoder pulse is very reactive to the outside light, so I'm guessing it's copying there must be some infrared rays from the sunlight, so I'm just going to adjust the circuit a bit, and yeah, I'll adjust the input signal from the camera so we get adjusted. And there you have it, you can see outside. Just trying to focus this camera in up close on the monitor. A bit tricky to do so. Its autofocus tend to be picking the wrong objects to focus in on, so that's a bit of a drag. Well, anyway, yeah. Well, the NBTV camera in general is working to, pick up a signal, send it via the mixer video circuitry to the LED driver to the monitor display, that's all working fine. It's just, yeah, the problem is the synchronization. I don't know what's going on, why it's not synchronizing, but it will soon get to the bottom of it, hopefully. Anyway, learned a few new tricks here, which is good, and I learnt that I can use this NBTV camera as a NBTV viewer as well. So this is pretty much a multifaceted unit, which I actually quite like. So there you go. Anyway, before I go, I'm going to try and get up the 400 Hz crystal clock waveform for you. Just need to multitask here, hold camera and get this bloody thing connected. So stick that to ground if it'll stay in place, and I think that goes to pin 14, the crystal clock pulse, so try and hold that steady. Zooming in onto the monitor, that's our crystal pulse. I just need to adjust the volts of division a bit, so give me a moment to do that. So try again. This is the problem doing one hand job, very cumbersome as it is. There we go. Get this camera to focus. Camera's not auto-focusing for some reason. There we go. So that's our 400 Hz crystal clock pulse, which on the volts division, it's looks to be about right in terms of our pulse width. And looking at our, well, actually I won't bother with that for now. Just trying to, so I can't really adjust the bloody oscilloscope while I've got camera in hand and got the probe on various areas of the circuitry. Anyway, yeah, so far, well, we're getting a good clock pulse. I can adjust the encoder circuit to, I guess, is the right pulse width. Trouble is, we're just not getting the sync, as I said, for the upteenth time. But anyway, that's the latest update on my NBTV camera. Stay tuned for the next video. Hopefully I'll get the synchronization working properly, and we should get good NBTV pictures. This is Troy from Troy's Visual Arts channel, signing out.